Giant Stadium in the Meadowlands of New Jersey, ABC Sports presents the North American Soccer League. Today, the New England T-Men take on the New York Cosmos. This ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by the people who bring you the light, refreshing taste of Coca-Cola. Coke adds life.
24th of June in the Meadowlands of New Jersey. It's partly cloudy and cool, a perfect day for football, you might say. Well, football is what we're here to see this afternoon. But it's football as it's played in the rest of the world, the sport that we call soccer. We'll see American soccer at its highest level here, the champion New York Cosmos facing the New England T-Men. Despite the cool day and the very real gas shortage in this area, an expected crowd of about 45,000 is still gathering in Giant Stadium. Well, good afternoon. I'm Jim McKay speaking to you from our ABC commentary position, and this is our first visit on our national telecast to what has become the shrine of American soccer, Giant Stadium here in New Jersey. The host team, the Cosmos, they're the champions. They're the most famous side in the sport in the United States and all the Americas, I suppose you could say in a certain way. But they're not a happy team at the moment. They're in a state of flux in a way. Coach Eddie Fermani was fired not long ago. They've lost their last two games, the first time that's happened to them in almost 2 years. And today they face the only team that's beaten them in this stadium in their past 36 home games, the New England T-Men. So it should be a most interesting afternoon. The man who is trying to remold this team of all-stars, the Cosmos, into a unified whole is ProfessorJulio Mazzei. They call him the technical director rather than the coach, but he is the man who runs things, and right now he's on the sidelines with Vern Lundquist. Vern?
Thank you, Jim. Professor, this is a team that one newspaper described as being the Cosmos in chaos. Are you the man, or can any man control this team of superstars?
I think that the matter of control a team of superstars is the matter of communication, is the matter to treat them as a human being, understand their different culture, habits, tradition, style of player. I think that there are no problem if you have this ability to communicate with them.
And you have that ability?
I think so, because I'm involved in this game internationally for 20 years, and being with Pelé for 18 years, I think that they are going to be able to do this. You
have one more superstar joining the team today, an international of great renown, Johan Neeskens. Can he bring unity to this team of superstars?
No doubt about this. He's a great player. Is that what we call the perfect player, because he's not only know the game, but he's a worker. When you have a worker that knows the game and one that knows the game and is a worker, that's the balance that we need, and he is that kind of balance.
We look forward to his debut, Professor. Good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
Jim?
Okay, while they were talking, we were having a look at number 13, Johan Neeskens. I'm Jim McKay, now with our expert on the sport, Paul Gardner. Professor Mazzei, if you're not familiar with him, up until very recently was known principally as the close associate and the mentor, if you will, of the world-famous Pelé, but now he's running the Cosmos of New York. We mentioned, and he mentioned, Johan Neeskens. Tell us a little more about him, Paul.
I think Neeskens is a player that a lot of us have been saying the Cosmos need, not just this season, but maybe for the past 2 seasons. A midfielder, a worker, as Mazzei said, but also a very skilled player, a tackler, a hard player. He'll bring some spine and some grit to this midfield here. Now, the other player I must talk about today, of course, is the goalkeeper, David Bursic. Now, the Cosmos have had goalkeeper problems this season. Yassine is injured, Brand has been playing injured. They've not been happy with the performances. Now, this young man gets his first start. This is the first game he started for the Cosmos here today. We'll see just how he can do, whether he can stand up to the nervousness that's bound to be with him, and debut before 40,000 people here. This is quite a test for David Bursic.
And although David has a name with something of a foreign sound, he is an American, a native of this country. So it'll be interesting to see how he can do. On the T-Men, Paul, I talked about Jerry Daly, their scorer. How about a couple of others?
Well, a scorer up front, King Keita. King, he comes from Mali in Africa. Salif Keita is his real name. What a player this is. He's not going to charge about all over the field. You won't see that sort of thing from him. But once he gets the ball, just watch out. He's a magician with the ball. He can do anything with it. He makes the opponents wonder whatever he's going to do next, and he can score. Now, further than that, going back to midfield, Ringo Cantillo maybe fills the same sort of role for the New England T-Men that Neeskens will, I hope, fill for the Cosmos. He's a worker, he's a young man, only 23 years old, and I think the fact that the coach Noel Campbell has entrusted him with command in midfield is a tribute to the skills of this young man.
Okay, just a brief taste then of what is to come as we come to you live from Giant Stadium. It's New England against the Cosmos. We'll be back with the lineups. Noel Cantwell. Let's take a look now at his starting lineup for today's game. First of all, starting in goal, 37-year-old Kevin the Cat, they call him Keelan, a star goalkeeper for many years in England and now here. The sweeper will be number 6, Peter Simpson. On the defense, number 2, Artur from Portugal. Number 3, Peter Carr. He talk it up a lot. Number 5, Chris Turner. In midfield, Jerry Daly, number 12. He's the star of the team, or has been recently. Number 4, Ringo Cantillo, also in midfield. And number 15, Brian Alderson, who scored the other night against Toronto. An American, number 19, Steve Reed, will be on the right side of the forward line. Then King Keita, and the captain of the team, number 14, Keith Weller. That is the New England starting lineup. Now a look at the Cosmos of New York, the champions of the North American Soccer League. Starting for them in goal, the young American David Bursic. Number 2, Eskandarian, coming back from a broken cheekbone today. Wim Rijsbergen, the tough Dutch defender, number 15. Number 5, the great Brazilian Carlos Alberto. Number 3, Mourinho, another Brazilian. Moving to the midfield, the young American, 20 years old, Ricky Davis. He's doing just fine these days. Bogey, they call this man Vladislav Bogicevic. Here is Johan Neeskens, the great Dutch star, making his debut. Number 7, Dennis Stewart on the right wing. In the middle, their scorer, their striker, Giorgio Canaglia, and rounding out the team, Mark Liverich on the left wing. The New York Cosmos against the New England T-Man. It will be live, and it'll be starting when we return in another minute. Up now, and there is Johan Neeskens, who, by the way, will be playing on artificial turf for the first time, which will be quite an experience for him, I think. It's New England in the yellow shirts with red pants, red and yellow for New England, the white home uniforms for the Cosmos. If you're a neophyte in the sport of soccer, there are 11 men on the side. Only 3 substitutes are allowed during the course of the entire game, which is 2 45-minute halves. 3 substitutes for each team, and when you go out, you cannot come back in again. The man who's replaced is out of it. So New England kicking off. That's not the flamboyant exercise it is in American football, just to get the game underway here. There is Keita, number 8. Being marked by Neeskens immediately. Neeskens very much in the game, as now the Cosmos take over. This is usually a feeling out process in the first few minutes, as the Cosmos come from right to left on your screen. There's Dennis Stewart, number 7. He's the forward on the right side, remember. Normally, he'll be moving down into that position right now, maneuvering at midfield. Over to Eskandarian, coming back after a fractured right cheekbone. Been out for a good number of games, but the ball was stolen away by Peter Carr. Over to Alderson, and a long pass downfield intended for Keith Weller, number 14, the captain of New England. But out of bounds, or into touch, to use the proper soccer term again. And the team that didn't put it out gets to put it in. It's that simple. All right, Mourinho now, number 3. He's a defender, but he likes to score. To Bogicevic, heading it over to New England. Kicked back to the goalkeeper, and that almost went astray, Paul.
Oh, a little bit of acrobatics necessary there from Keelan. A back pass this early in the game, really, you shouldn't read too much into it, because obviously people are being very cautious, but that sort of back pass won't please anybody. That could well have gone away for a corner.
Okay, we have a whistle.
Well, we have a whistle there, and you may have seen Daly bend down there, or Artur it is, as though the kick should have gone the other way, because although he bent low, he nearly got kicked in the face there. The fact of the matter is that the dangerous play call is that if the ball is at kicking height, you should kick it and not head it.
Okay, there was Bogicevic kicking it in and losing the ball to Brian Alderson, number 15. So here comes New England from left to right. No score in the early minutes of the game between the Cosmos and the New England T-Men. New England coming off a victory at Toronto 2 nights ago. There's Mourinho now with the ball for the Cosmos. To Dennis Stewart. Stewart going to the ground. To the artificial turf.
Well and truly thumped to the ground by Carr there, and I think that will be what the one-on-one confrontation we should watch. Stewart and Carr, and probably Canaglia and Turner. These are the matchups. Turner on defense for the New England team, and Canaglia attacking for the Cosmos.
So we'll watch for number 5 of New England, Turner, on Giorgio Canaglia. There are matchups in the game of soccer. There is Rijsbergen, the fine Dutch defender who came to the Cosmos just this season. Blonde, getting it to Canaglia for the first time, but to no effect at this point. Daly got it away, gave it up to Keith Weller, as New England again takes over. And we do very much have the feeling out process we seem to see in the first couple of minutes of almost every soccer game. Once in a while you'll have that dramatic quick goal.
Well, I think every team would love to get a quick goal, Jim, as every team loves to score quickly in any sport. But in soccer, where the whole game could just be decided by one goal, you're not going to take the risk of giving up that goal, so you tend to be a bit cautious.
Ringo Cantillo, number 4, the midfielder. And of course, part of this early feeling out process is trying to get control of the midfield. Is it not, Paul?
Well, Many people say games are won at midfield. I have sort of reservations about that. I think games are won in the opponent's penalty area because you can control midfield, but if you don't score goals, it's not really much use to you.
Okay, that was Mourinho with a long kick down. And he gets some boos for that. He's been criticized at times for thinking too much of goals and not enough of defense.
And he's been playing in midfield. Today he's playing at left fullback, which means he's been pushed further back into defense, so he'll have even less opportunity to go forward today.
Okay, here comes Jerry Daly, midfielder, who, as we said at the beginning, has kind of a free rein on the field to go wherever he wants, do whatever he wants. He scored a hat-trick not long ago. That's 3 goals in a game. But now it's the Cosmos intercepting Mourinho once again. Moving up forward. Remember, he's a back, but he'll be coming up overlapping, as they say. Mark Liverich, number 29 for the Cosmos, centering it. And it's headed away by Chris Turner, marking Canaglia.
That was a good-looking cross from Liverich.
There he is.
He took his time and he measured that, and it was one of those tempting things where the goalkeeper really had to come out for it, and he never really quite got to it. A very dangerous cross from Liverich.
We had a good look at the bearded Chris Turner there a moment ago, too.
Well, we'll see Neeskens with his first foul on AstroTurf there. A late tackle going in just after the ball had been kicked away and taking the player down.
This will be a direct free kick. That means he can score directly without the ball touching another player. An indirect free kick, it must touch another player, at least marginally. There we go. For New England. And now, he almost got something going.
An example there maybe of how dangerous Keith Weller can be was a slight mistake there in the Cosmos defense. Weller on the flat.
Eskandarian, but the ball is kicked away by Simpson, the sweeper.
Well, what are we going to make of that, Jim? That's Eskandarian, who is not only a fullback, but he's a right fullback, and here he is attacking on the left-hand side of the field. Give you some idea of how fluid this game can be.
Well, that was Mourinho, the left fullback, centering it to Bogicevic. Bogi kicking it across now, and Ricky Davis with a header. Number 17.
Davis way up in the air. Not a big boy, Davis. Quite short, in fact, but he was towering above everybody on that.
Looks like the Cosmos are trying to mount an extremely aggressive attack right now. Everybody does.
Oh, I think so, yes. They're definitely trying to put pressure on New England early in the game here. The caution we talked about earlier on seems to have been abandoned after about the first 3 minutes. As far as the Cosmos is concerned, New England still this sort of thing, playing the ball around carefully at the back here, keeping it on the ground.
Well, the Cosmos have had a lot of goals scored on them in the early going this year. They've had to come from behind many times.
Well, yes, early in the season, they seem to be at their best coming from behind. Well, New England, playing it around cautiously, have done precisely the wrong thing and given it away.
Here comes Mark Liverich on the left side. That will be a goal kick. That means the offensive team put it over. The defensive team will put it in play. We'll be back. Going, New England in the red and yellow, going against the champion Cosmos of the North American Soccer League in their home white uniforms. No score. There are still 38 minutes remaining in the first half. And so, the Cosmos come from right to left. That's Carlos Alberto, number 5, down to Rick Davis, number 17, and into touch or out of bounds, so it'll be a throw-in for New England.
Now, Rick Davis being harried by a defender then, couldn't control the ball, ran it over the sideline. He touched it last, so New England put it in. Here they come.
There's Keith Weller, their captain, moving it forward. Intended for Alderson, but it didn't get to him. Again, the battle for possession of the ball at midfield. And that will be easily picked up by David.
Well, I'm afraid David Bursich handled that ball outside the area then. I think he must have been thinking basketball because he very carefully kept his foot inside the area and he leaned out and handled it outside the area. Now, that's a handball, which is one of the more serious offenses in soccer, so they get a direct free kick. When I say they, I mean the New England teammate. Look at that, right on the area there.
In essence, when the goalkeeper comes out of the penalty area, he becomes like anybody else.
He must not handle the ball outside. You see the big lines there on the bigger box there. He must not handle the ball outside that area. It doesn't matter where his feet are.
A two-man wall for the Cosmos. Mourinho and Liverich was headed in the middle. Carlos Alberto had a shot at it with his head, but went in the wrong direction. And now New England gets possession again. There it is. And the Cosmos take over. Weisbergen to Neeskens to Carlos Alberto. Back to Neeskens.
Lovely ball from Carlos Alberto, giving Neeskens a lot of room to run there.
Neeskens tried his first